As you know, the 3 kids were found guilty for taking the life of Jase Anfrey, aka XXXTentacion. We actually got an unboxing coming out this week. We already recorded it. We just got to finish editing. Coming out this week for another XXXTentacion. You guys know I always shop from his shop directly. I'll include that to the description down below so you guys can support if you guys would like to buy any merch. I always buy it directly from his site, or if his mom's part of like a collab, like with Revenge or something. I always buy something because I'm always going to do my part to keep X's name alive. And I always see a lot of people do, because he's like a top 10 stream artist after like 8 years of not being with us. So everyone's doing their part. Rest in peace, X. Rest in peace, X. But we're seeing a lot of the dudes coming out and doing an appeal. And in that appeal, he's bringing up Drake again. He's the one that went viral before for bringing up Drake. We even saw Ski go on Twitter and say, you're dumb if you really think Drake has something to do with this. But that lawyer is bringing up Drake again. That lawyer, the original one that brought up the whole Drake thing and how he didn't really get to go through it and investigate how he wanted to do it. He's given a little bit more information of what's going on because he was the original one that brought up the whole Drake angle, and he was not allowed to investigate the actual Drake theory as he wanted to because the judge blocked a lot of different things. And I guess now one of the defendants has a new lawyer. I'm not sure if they all do, but his lawyer is now using that Drake in his appeal. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think Drake has anything to do with this? Drake has dissed X over and over. This is all alleged. We don't really got proof that Drake dissed XXXTentacion, but shot him in daylight, shot him in daylight, shot him in daylight. That was a crazy song, and if you read it, you're like, ooh. The other one with Travis Scott, Sicko Mode, remember the meteor hitting the person and Tankhead going even crazy. Tankhead thought he was dissing X right after he passed away. Sicko Mode wasn't too much after X lost his life. They got X getting hit by a meteor in the video. X lookalike, rather say. And remember, his boys would do it. My boys would do it for a Louis bag. Remember all that? Remember the other time, XXX, that's the only time I shoot below the neck. Like, maybe I should pop a 10, maybe I should pop a 20, maybe I should break it in half. I forgot the exact ball. I'm just freestyling off the mind. Oh, but if you looked at all the numbers, that was XXX once again. And even on my boys, as soon as we heard that bar, that one was just like a little weird one to us that stood out. And a lot of my peoples was tight over that one. Like, yo, hold on. Is he dissing X once again? The internet thought I caught a body, but I didn't buy a body. I forgot. But he's been just throwing jabs at my boys so much is out of this world. Do you think this has any truth to it? Will it help the appeal? Subscribe to the channel, comment down below. We will be doing a giveaway. We always do on X unboxings on this channel, so it could be an X giveaway that we do. So sub up. All you got to do is follow me on Instagram. 9,000 subs, I'll give more information. At 10,000 subscribers, we will be naming the winner of the unboxing on my Instagram story. So make sure you follow me there, sub up to the channel, and let's see what info we can get from this.
And the defense, my understanding, wanted to call Jesse De La Cruz visual evidence that Drake could have had ties to the same organization as a co-defendant in this case, Robert Allen. And I believe the brief states, Dr. Cruz's research revealed photos of Mr. Graham throwing the same gang signs as Allen. And Allen is that accomplice who I mentioned before who testified against his. Also revealed.
Is it the 6? You know, Drake's always throwing up the 6, and that could be confused with the blood gang sign if you know both hands. But is Drake throwing it up really for a gang? Or is Drake just throwing it up for Toronto like he always says? Or is he throwing it up for some Illuminati devil worshiping? There's so many different angles that hand sign could be represented.
New Drake were allegedly seen in XXXTentacion's neighborhood threatening him before he died. The brief reads, social media posts showed these same known Graham associates were seen in Anfrey's neighborhood threatening him just prior to the murder. And then they
600 breezy. That's all I gotta say. 600 breezy. Mr. Peacock. Pause on the peacock.
Peacock. Hey yo, I'm looking for XXXTentacion. No? Nobody seen him? Mr. Peacocks? Ain't this his hood? Where he at? No? Nobody seen him? No? I'm in Miami though. And we're all over in every county. If a nigga looking for me and you talking that gangster shit, and I'm blicked up. Man, knock it off. Knock it off. I'm in my hotel. Hey, Broward County.
Is this connection Cruz made to Drake's song lyrics, because shortly after XXX was killed, the brief writes, Mr. Graham released a song entitled XXX with suspicious lyrics. SMS XXX, that's the only time I shot below the neck. And Dr. Cruz found another connection between the murder and Drake's lyrics in the song I'm Upset. The song I'm Upset contains lyrics regarding Louis bags for body bags, the implication there being that Drake was referencing murder. But ultimately, Cruz was completely excluded from the trial, and the jury did not hear any of his findings. Mauricio, I have that right. And can you emphasize that a little bit more? Can you explain that a little bit more? Found another connection between the murder and Drake's lyrics in the song I'm Upset. The song I'm Upset contains lyrics regarding Louis bags for body bags, the implication there being that Drake was referencing murder. But ultimately, Cruz was completely excluded from the trial, and the jury did not hear any of his findings. Mauricio, I have that right. And can you emphasize that a little bit more? Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. Okay. So Dr. De La Cruz did proffer to the court everything that you've stated regarding the song lyrics, the fact that Drake was throwing gang signs that were the same gang signs that Allen was throwing up in different social media posts. The court strikes Dr. De La Cruz, which is a known gang expert and well-known in his field, has testified over 150 times in trials. They allowed the state to put their own gang expert, Detective Polo, which really bolstered a lot of what Dr. De La Cruz said regarding the necessity to bring out this testimony. I don't believe that based on Daubert, which is the case that we look at when analyzing whether an expert if it's appropriate for an expert to testify, I don't believe that was a legal call. I think it was error for him to do that and not allow us to put forth that testimony. And we put up pictures of Drake with Lil Wayne throwing up a blood gang sign and other evidence that Drake is out there flaunting gang ties. We put forth evidence of Hassan Ali, which is top 5 out there openly claiming on social media and video that he's Drake's shooter. And
top five is your worst friend in a situation like this. Top 5 is like, yo, Crody, me and Drake, if you come to Toronto, I would shoot you. If I was there that night with Kodak, he would have been dead. And he just looked around like, bro, didn't you just get out of jail and avoid doing like, I don't know how many years, and you already did years. And like, I never seen a dude that wants to go back so bad.
Don't survive.
If I was there, Kodak would have been dead.
He would have been dead.
Yeah, the 16-year-old G42, he took care of it, but I would have done it.
If I was there, he would have been a nose too.
He would have been done.
But
that's why you guys seen him in Paris.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on,
That
I'm
was like,
still happy.
We left him. Presta told us to leave it alone.
Hold on, I'm still happy that
we already have one up on him.
G42 bond him up. And he does have one up on. I think if I was there, I would have told G42, nah, we're doing this.
We already have one up on.
You know what I mean?
So what's the guy's beef with him though? I don't get it.
That's what I was saying. If I was there,
he had to run.
If I was there, I couldn't kill him.
You guys were front row.
You know why? It was too much.
You guys were front row.
I know, but like,
you're right.
Him to run at it.
You're right.
You can't kill him.
You're right.
You're going to jail. That's crack.
He sent his bodyguards. He sent like his bodyguards to stand up.
I have a young boy here that's ready to crash out, man. I'm crash out gang too,
I'm
man.
not crashing out, so.
So you guys scared to go Miami?
No, we can't crash it. We're not gonna crash out.
But then again, you never know. If I was there, I'd probably kill him too.
Part of the theory of defense is to show, listen, even though these people are entertainers, okay, there's a gang-related portion of it. There's a gang-related side to it. And X's own mother testified that she knew about this, that she knew about when 600 Breezy traveled from wherever he was, whether it's Chicago to South Florida. She knew about it. She talked to him about it. So this case had more than ample evidence and ample reason to involve a gang expert.
Clear, though, you were allowed to argue that someone else could have been responsible for this killing because cross-examined Allen on cross-examination, suggesting that he had this link to Drake. But my understanding is you're arguing now that the trial court had put limits on your cross-examination of Allen, that violated your client's rights. Am I misunderstanding that?
No, you're 100% correct. But they did it not only with Allen, but they did it all throughout the trial.
Okay.
With Allen admitted that his father, known drug dealer, known firearms dealer, as the brief states, produced at least one of the guns that was used in this. When I asked him about his father and ties to Toronto and drug dealing, the state objected and the judge didn't allow that question. So it was a constant battle for me to try and basically do my job and show where reasonable doubt existed. With Allen, with Detective Curcio, the problem here is also that the state attorney, on direct of Detective Curcio, which was the lead detective in the case, she asked, do you have it?
Hold on, I don't even like roast nobody because I'm ugly to somebody, like I always love to say.
With Allen, with Detective Curcio, the problem here is also that the state attorney, on direct of
I've never seen a big toe before with glasses. Like, this is crazy. This is like if No Neck Ed grew to final form, though. Nah, this is crazy.
Detective Curcio, which was the lead detective in the case, she asked, do you have any information that Drake was involved in this? And that was before the court struck him. So whatever reasons may have existed, the moment that state attorney opens up their mouth and says that, now he's really at issue. Because now
you're opening the door. You're opening the door to that coming in.
Yes. And not only was it an issue of her mentioning it with Detective Curcio, but she asked him, you actually were able to verify whether or not Drake was in South Florida at the time. So in cross-examination, I asked, why would you have to verify if he was in South Florida? Why? Because he's a person of interest. And then I had to further ask, well, what did you do to, and I'm paraphrasing, what did you do to figure out whether he was in South Florida? He says, oh, my partner checked social media. So then I said, okay, so in a homicide case, the best that Broward Sheriff's Office has for a jury is to peep his Instagram. So it was basically breaking down the poor job that VSO did in their investigation and the tunnel vision that they had. And the fact that none of this was in the report. So you felt it important enough to check and verify whether or not he was in South Florida, but you never memorialized it in your report, and I'm not allowed to ask him.
He also testified, Detective Curcio, that he learned that Onfroy, XXX, had been attacked by members of Migos, right? Migos is the rap group that's associated with Drake. Was that came in, and again, you weren't able to expand upon that?
Not only did that come in, but when I asked him in cross-examination, isn't it true that the first time that the name Migos comes out in this case was a month after the murder in the first conversation that you yourself had with the cooperating co-defendant Alan. Didn't remember, had to refresh his recollection, and right there in the transcribed conversation, it basically showed that Alan, the cooperator, said the name Migos in the first conversation that they had. So it basically showed that I wasn't making this up. Like, I'm not creating it. The facts were there before.
Wait, Robert Allen brought up the Migos? I wonder what he said. Is that information that's, hold on, is that something we can find? Because what did he say? I can't see anything other than Fox 13 saying XXXTentacion murder. Rapper Drake, deceased member of Migos, I'm assuming Takeoff, listed as possible witness in upcoming trial. I'm not sure if that's what they're speaking about, but I'll try to see if I can find anything else, and if I do, I'll add it. And if you guys know, let me know down below. Why did Robert Allen bring up the Migos that we all know about when X called Takeoff Liftoff? Was it all from that?
Before I even ever alleged their involvement or filed a motion in court, they're checking to see whether or not Drake is in South Florida. That was years before I mentioned it. And Allen is saying that is talking about Migos to the lead detective a month after the murder. This is years before I filed anything regarding my theory of defense. So it was just to show that this is part of the case.
And the argument is that your client didn't get a fair shake, didn't get a fair trial because you couldn't expand upon this and introduce this. I want to move quickly past Drake and ask you a couple of different questions about this appeal. Curcio, I understand that there's also an objection that your team has with him providing opinion testimony on cell phone data. Can you talk about that real quick, what the issue was with Detective Curcio there?
There's a lot that we're seeing coming from this case. Also, is he still on the trial? I might be confused with someone else, because remember, there was 3 guys that said not guilty, and then one of them, Robert Allen, standing, testified against all of them and got a way shorter sentence. Is he still part of the case and I'm confused? Let me know down below. But how do you guys feel about this? Do you think there's any merit? He did share a lot of information we knew from social media, like the Migos fight with XXXTentacion, Breezy coming down to Florida and riding around saying he's blicked up in the back of a convertible. He's in Miami right now. The back and forth between X and the Migos on social media, with even Offset wearing a revenge hoodie, not knowing it had collabed to XXXTentacion. Like, he's talking crazy about X with a big ass hand on his back. Like, that was insane. Kill hand on his back. Like, that was insane. But there was a lot of beef between X. X talking about his favorite tapioca pudding. I think that's what stirred all this up. I think that's really what stirred all this up. But does that have anything to do with the death of XXXTentacion, or was it that he just had 50,000 in his bag? He happens to go buy a motorcycle. They want to rob him. X don't give it up. They get nervous and pull the trigger. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? Drake is throwing a lot of subs, but I think personally Drake had nothing to do with this. Me personally, I think Drake had nothing. Drake was being disrespected by somebody non-stop. He had nothing to do with this murder. He's over here name dropping. How many rappers have we seen talk about a body they got nothing to do with? It's just another one of those, knowing that there's no way in the world they could prove he did it because he knows he didn't. Drake has any evidence that he didn't, he gets guilty to this. Jay-Z and Diddy and their court case and this simulation, that's it. It just got too crazy. Now I'm good. I'm switching to rock music. Let me know down below your thoughts about all this. Do you think they have a chance? Do you think they have a chance to win that appeal? Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. We will be doing a giveaway at 10,000 subscribers.